Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about something that comes up all the time in my clinic when talking to people who they're not even a client yet or ever. Maybe they never will be, but it's something that comes up all the time, and that is mother's intuition. And how many times moms will tell me, this has been going on for so long. The signs were all there. I had a bad feeling. I can relate. I did the exact same thing with my daughter. So let me know in the comments below. Do you listen to your mama's intuition? Has that been something that you've had to work on? Do you even know what that feels like to listen to it? Do you know that feeling of this doesn't feel right? Or are you starting to realize when you're ignoring it? And this is a really important topic, and no woohoo. They've done studies on mother's intuition and instinct, and it's totally legit and scientific. And it is absolutely the thing you have to learn to do, to listen to, if you want to help your child. And I know this because just in clinic, how many times moms will say to me, this has been going on for so long, the signs were all there, and I ignored it. And this can be the difference if you listen to your child, to your mother's intuition. This can be the difference between helping your child actually make gains because you go in the direction that's different from what everyone else is telling you to go. Or, experts are great, right? They help us for sure. I consider myself an expert in child development and nutrition. However, myself included in this category, experts might know a lot about certain topics, but they do not know a lot about your child as an individual. They are not the expert of your child. You are the expert of your child. And that is why it is so important that you listen to your intuition so that you can actually help your child overcome the difficulties that they're having. And a lot of the moms that I work with, like I said, they didn't at first. And in the master class that I'm going to be having on November 21st, I'm going to be talking about the root causes of a lot of the reasons why kids struggle with learning and behavior. And one of the things that always comes up either in the comments or later on when I'm talking to people through phone calls or chats or emails later on, after they do the live training that I've run a few times, both in person and virtually, they will say, oh my God, like my child had this symptom or they did this and I had a feeling, but everyone told me not to worry about it. It was not a big deal. I was making a mountain out of a molehill, all that type of stuff. And that's why it is so important to not only recognize the signs of, what this, skipping this milestone could mean, or, that your child not doing this. Knowing the signs is one thing, but also knowing and learning to listen to your own instinct and intuition is absolutely crucial to help your child every step of the way. And one thing I tell my clients in my program all the time is they sometimes are really looking for this cookie cutter, to just tell me what to do. And I obviously support them and give them direction and some really clear starting points. But I always tell them, you need to use your intuition. You need to use your instinct. If this doesn't feel right, if you notice, you're adding this food in and you're taking this food out and your child's not reacting well, don't listen to just the science or the experts. Go with your gut. You have to blend knowledge and wisdom with your own mama's instinct. So, and the thing is that when we are feeling vulnerable, we tend to ignore our instinct and intuition because, first of all, it's very poo-pooed in our culture. It's considered woohoo. But the other thing is we tend to ignore it because we are feeling like failures as moms. We are feeling guilty sometimes, like we did something wrong as a mom. we just doubt ourselves. We question our own judgment. And I know that because I was there, where I went to every single expert. I trusted every single well-meaning family member and friend and everybody in between of what was wrong with my daughter, instead of listening to my own instinct, because I doubted my own judgment. I blamed myself for how my daughter was struggling, and I thought maybe there was something I did or didn't do. There's a reason she's like this and the other kids aren't, and so I need to talk to somebody else. And as a result, I knew something was wrong when she was 5 years old. And I waited 5 years before I finally listened to my own instinct and said, enough's enough. And I stopped listening to all of these theories and ideas of maybe it was this and maybe it was that. So let me ask you right now, have you been told things like, does this sound familiar? Have you been told things like, he'll grow out of it? It's just a phase, or it's just a stage. All kids go through this. It's just a behavior. He or she's doing it for attention. They're just a slow learner. I had the same problem when I was a kid. He'll grow out of it. It's just anxiety. She or he is the youngest in the class. She or he is still young. She or he has been going through this. That's kind of stressful. That's the cause. And all of these can be factors, right? But if you're asking these questions and you have these concerns about your child, chances are it's because this is not just a phase. This is more than just one of these phases our kids go through, and there is something wrong. And all of the research shows, right, that the sooner we get our kids help, the faster we see the results, the less side effects, if you will, in terms of repercussions, like the low self-esteem and the low self-worth that they will have to deal with because of that. And so that is why it is so important to step into trusting your own intuition and having that confidence as a mom, even if you're feeling vulnerable and guilty and so forth, and learning how to say, something doesn't feel right. And I remember everyone temporarily making me feel better, because it was great. I remember seeing a friend and she said, this is just attention. It's just going to go away. She's being attention seeking. And I actually felt better after that conversation all weekend. I felt so much better, but it's a temporary hope, right? It's a temporary sense of feeling better, because deep down, something is wrong. And then you just go back to it. And so you're constantly going to these experts and specialists and websites and everything else, because you're looking for this constant confirmation or sense of everything's going to be fine. And everything can be fine, right? But you need to get to the root cause. And if you know something is wrong, then we need to address that. So, just going back to the fact that so often it's like a bit of a sexism in our society, where listening to mama's intuition is almost considered hysterical. We can't trust what the mother thinks because she's too emotional. It's too subjective. She's too emotionally involved or invested. And all of that is true, but that's also where our intuition and instinct comes from, because it's subjective, because we're emotionally involved, because we are so intimately connected with our children. All I can say is that if you know that something is wrong with your child, don't let anyone tell you differently. If you know that there's more that you can do, because that was my thing. Then I finally got answers, but it was, well, this is what you can do to manage it. And my instinct was telling me, no, there has to be some root cause. There has to be a solution. There's no way this is the end of the story. So if you know that there has to be something more than IEPs and medication and tutoring and OT appointments and appointments here and appointments there, then listen to that and dig deeper. And that's why I encourage you to join me on November 21st for the free live training, where I will be talking about the root causes, no mama guilt. This is not about what you did wrong. Definitely there's, certain factors that can influence, but as Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. And I thought I did everything right, and now I know I did so much wrong. So it's not about guilt, it's about getting to the root cause so that we can move past those limitations that are holding your child back so they can really thrive, regain their confidence, enjoy going to school, feel good about themselves, not feel like the teacher or people in the family dislike them, and all of that type of stuff. So please let me know in the comments below, what has been your experience with this, with your intuition? Did you know something was wrong and people tried to make you feel better? Have you started listening to your instinct or intuition and started kind of digging your heels in sometimes and ignoring the experts? And I'm going to encourage you to do that, to sometimes ignore the experts. And I'm not saying they're all a bunch of idiots, because I consider myself one as well, but they are not the authority. They might have an area of expertise, but they are not the authority on your child. That's the difference. So let me know in the comments below, and please join the free live training. I will post a link for that in the comments, and sign up before spots fill up. They are filling up quickly. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, please share.